Yo, what is up, boys and girls? Welcome to another match analysis slash reaction with your boy Mirko. Today, we're going to be doing a match analysis slash reaction on the defending world champions up against BREN Esports. Now, it was my birthday yesterday, and coincidentally, the Echo Varsity came in the mail as well. So, yeah, I got the Echo Varsity, and Cloudy, even Cloudy likes it, right? So let me just put Cloudy down. She's on the desk. She's gonna mess with the mouse and stuff. But yeah, let's deep dive into what made Echo win, right? By the way, first off, I really like the entire rework that the Filipino production did with the drafts. The drafts look amazing, really good. I really like the drafts here. Hey, look, they're wearing the varsities too. Yeah, big shout out to MPL PH production. They have really stepped up. I think, wow, it's a great draft interface. So here, let's Fanny, Glue. We already have the Kaja as well. Just standard bans here. Respect to Kyle TZ with the Fanny, obviously. On the enemy team, this is all across, even in Indonesia. Red side just bans 1-1 and Joy every single time. 1-1 Joy always gonna be banned, and then there's obviously still the Cho ban. That really differs from different teams, right? Now the drafts coming in here is pretty unique, right? They go for the Fredrin first pick. I think I really like Echo's choice, and then the Farsa is the response from BREN Esports, which is also another great pick in my opinion. Then they go for the Edith, which is interesting, right? The Edith did just get buffed. In Indo, we've only seen it in the XP lane. I'm not sure if it's going to be the XP lane 2 here in BREN, you know, how BREN actually utilized this Edith, if it's an XP lane or not. But noticing this, looking at this, when a team goes for Kadita, usually it's no longer Kadita roam, right? It's not Kadita roam with a mage. Usually Kadita is the mage. Usually it's a double roam setup. So that's why they're already going to go for the Atlas ban here. Just some respect, knowing Yaoi's hero pool, the Cho, the Atlas, right? And for Echo, they're going for the gold lane ban, okay? Respecting Super Mirko, who's been performing really well too. I think Super Mirko is a very underrated gold laner. A gold laner that hasn't really gotten a lot of you know, highlights, or well, he has gotten a lot of highlight plays, but it just hasn't been shown. They're already working their way into something like a carry or even a Moskov here with the Brody ban. I like the Brody ban. Respect again. They're not just going for, you know, just not respecting fully towards Yaoi. Yeah, I was thinking carry too. The casters. Wow, we're a bit shocked. That's a lot of magic damage. I think that might have been, I don't know, looking at it, might have been a mistake here. Very easy to itemize unless this Paquito. See, again, in MPL ID, Paquito usually goes to the XP, not the jungle. We have never seen it in the jungle. I'm not sure if this is going to be the jungle Paquito, but if it does go to the jungle, then it makes a little bit more sense with the damage, right? Because usually in jungle, you go high and dry or killing spree, you go full damage. Echo with the Harith Bando, it really looks like they're setting up for... Right now with the Natan, what's going to be a good matchup against the Natan? I'm still thinking carry. Maybe another good hero would be Melissa. Oh, they still go for the Lunox in the gold lane. All right. See, for Echo, it makes... Wait. Who's the roamer? Yaoi? Yaoi Akai? Signature hero back in Season 7. Interesting. Very interesting. But it makes more sense for Echo. The Lunox gold lane pick makes sense. And yeah, it is going to be the Paquito in the jungle. They secure another very good damage dealer. And it is Edith Rome. So yeah, it's not Edith XP. Edith Rome. Wow. Interesting. And here you can already see the predictions from English Talents and PH Talents. I would personally go for Echo myself here. Look at their composition. It's really solid, actually. We'll dive into the composition a bit deeper here once we get into the game, right? I personally really like the Lunox pick here instead of going for something physical, is because they already went for 2 physical damage dealers and the Kadita, who is yeah, mainly burst, right? You're not gonna once Sanji uses his full rotation of skills, there's not much more magic damage that comes out. So it's very one-dimensional when it comes to the damage. Meanwhile, whoa. Sanford already trying to 1v1 here, clears out the wave faster, and I think Flap just definitely did not respect the clear pressure of the Benedetta here. Speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about the winning lanes here. Lunox, Natan, gonna be honest, don't know how that plays out. I think it should still be the Lunox who has a bit of an advantage with the sustain she has, but because she's in the gold lane, she needs to be safe. Super Marco clears the wave a bit better, so Benny's just going to be constantly shoved down his turret. I think it's going to be very similar to the mid lane too. Sanji and Yaoi on the Akai. Very interesting picks here. I know the score 2-0 is the end game score for Echo, but I don't know how it happens, right? So we'll see. Good knock up, good kill pressure. Yeah, wow. What a good gank there. Good setup against Ogwin. Really good setup. Really good. Wow, that was really good. I didn't expect them to deal that much. Well, I did expect them to deal damage, just not that much, right? Before you get ultimate on the Kadira, you were able to burst the Edith super easily, and that's what Sanji brings into the mid lane. I like the fact that Echo is utilizing that really well, right? They know that if we're just going for the clear battle, it's never going to work out for the... Oh, nice one, Carl. It's never going to work out for the Kadira. He's always going to be shoved in, but he notices that he has a bit more killing pressure to play with. That's why the Akai was picked up too. Actually, I don't know why the... I understand why the Akai was picked up against this composition, but with their comp, I guess it's a good combo. It's a good combo together with Sanji. If he is able to pin people down, good disengage tool as well in case they need it. Just have never seen Akai roam in MPL ID. Longest active team in MPL history. Wow, BREN. Solid. But yeah, I really like this. They know that they have the winning lane in the XP lane, so they utilize it by... Oh! They utilize it by ganking down below constantly. Even though it doesn't like work out in terms of getting a kill, Flap TC is still able to escape. Very good escape by Flap, by the way. But it's still Flap losing an entire wave of minions. And Benny is so good at playing both strong side and weak side of the map, right? So they're pretty flexible when it comes down to that. They're not even playing Benny full weak side because Yaoi is rotating over there. They're just putting Sanji in... You know what? Let's talk a little bit about the setup. How did they get this set up? Because Sanji... The mini-wave was shoved in. They notice... Yeah, Sanji was just not visible on the map, right? Sanji was able to clear out the wave under the turret, so... It's a good subversion of expectations, I guess. And then there's the fight here. Benny picks up the gold buff. Again, Benny's such a good weak side player, man. I feel like even if he gets ganked on the Lunox, Lunox is such a good, weak side pick because of her invulnerability, right? She's very immobile. Oh my god! That's not worth it for Benny, dude. That is really not worth it for Benny. Super Marco cleared out the entire wave. Benny's gonna be... Benny lost the cannon minion here. It could have been really good if Benny actually got that solo kill without dying. It's so massive, but he died. Super Marco got the better trade, I would say, in that skirmish because of the cannon minion. He's losing that now. But again, you can go for these kind of trades when you have your XP lane winning so hard already. And again, Few just gets picked off, man. Few did not respect the... No Purify, not having Purify there. He got caught. Again, this is what Echo's composition was built for, the killing pressure in the mid lane. And it's happened twice now with Ogwen getting picked off early on, now the second time, and even Few fall in. And Echo are just utilizing this to capitalize. I think Echo have just been... Honestly, looking at game number 1, I feel like it's just really hard to pull off this draft up against Echo's draft. It's a really solid draft by Echo, and I think BREN were experimenting a bit. I still feel like now Honestly, when it comes to like the damage, it's okay from BREN because they have a good mix of magical and physical. It's just they have so many losing lanes. Even in the weak side, in Echo's weak side, technically he is going even. And with Yaoi and Sanji rotating over there, once Sanford already picks up a dub down below, BREN can't really rotate anywhere across the map. Karl'Tezi is also, just notice how Karl'Tezi has been playing for some time now. He's just been matching Karl'Tezi. He knows that Karl'Tezi, what he's trying to do on the Paquito is look for kills, right? That's the only way you can look for Snowball, because obviously neutral objective control is mostly going to be in the hands of the Fredrin. So look at what Fredrin does. He just reacts to the movement of Karl'Tezi every single time. When Kyle goes bot, Karl'Tezi does the same thing. It's a good read on Karl'Tezi's part. And, you know, he adds more pressure here. BREN could have easily gone for the dive onto Sanford. If it works or not is, you know, it really comes down to how they execute the dive. But because Karl'Tezi was here, Kyle needs to just respect that. And Kyle always backs away, goes to mid, and you can see Karl'Tezi follows everywhere he goes. Kyle tries to go down. It's Carl following him once again. And meanwhile, Echo, they already have 3 winning members technically now in the 5th minute of the game. They can just utilize that, the goal lead that they built up with the turtle takes. And even here, they can kind of win in the 2v2s, right? Even though Sanford gets taken low, Karl'Tezi is so painful, is so sustainable that he can bait enough time for the members, the other members, to come and play. Well played. Honestly, just really well played. It's just... Echo are really good. I think it's very hard to find a weak link from Echo. And it just shows, again, why they're world champions is that for that reason right there. They're just 5 of the best micro or individuals in the world. When you're this good mechanically, it's pretty hard to beat, right? The way they add macro into the mix as well is just they're a very good mix of both of those styles. But obviously they are, what I like is for Echo, because this is something that I kind of realized from Filipino teams. Well, not all Filipino teams, but I think before Echo, right, even Blacklist, they rely so heavily on their macro that sometimes their micro or their mechanics individually don't really shine. It does shine from time to time, obviously, but not to the extent that Echo, you know, not to the level of Echo. Because, like, in every single team fight, you can really see the mechanics shine for Echo. And I think they just utilize that. They understand that they have a very talented group of people mechanically, right? So they're not scared of doing that. They're not the coaches as well are not forcing Echo to play macro, just make the best kind of decisions. No, they can play it chaotically too, and it's great because it suits them, right? Because they can actually pull that style off. They can mix both these play styles, mechanic and macro, really well. But they can rely on either the mechanics or the macro, depending on the situation. When they're behind, obviously they need to rely on the macro. But when they're ahead, just go for it, right? That makes them so, you know, again, they're always just constantly looking for plays on the map, utilizing that superior, the goal lead that they already have, and the superior mechanics to outclass their opponents. And it's it's so demoralizing, right? When you just get outplayed like this. Oh my God! Sanford. I don't think that's worth it in the end. Wait, it is. He's 1-1. I thought he had a shutdown. Never mind, it's worth it. Super Marco gets shut down even harder. The reason I say it's worth it, sure, maybe in terms of just gold, it isn't really worth it because Super Marco has died 3 times. But in the grander scheme of things, if Super Marco survived that, he would have had more time on the map to actually farm, to help, or to get farm with his team around him, right? But with him dead, it's him suffering a few seconds of downtime, and everybody else on Echo gets the lead. Same goes for Benny, who's also the gold laner, right? You can see that his items there, or his gold, is very close. So if Super Marco didn't die there, he would have been able to catch up, and maybe he could have been that big threat in the later stage of the game. So it's all about these little things that the pro players do that they are able to maximize the smallest of mistakes, the smallest of margins. They're able to utilize the smallest of margins. And again, signature Echo, right? They are winning. There's no reason for them to back off, play it disciplinedly when they have such a big lead. They can risk doing this without dying because they know that mechanically, we know our limits really well. Even if it fails, the dive, we're still able to dish out a lot of damage and get away at the same time. We know the fundamentals still. When we dive in, we're never diving in with Benny in the front, right? We're never risking really a shutdown. It was always Sanji who has the shutdown, but Kadita, you're pretty much untargetable, unkillable. So yeah, with this, I think it's just really smart the way they're playing it as well. Like I said, it's a good mix of both styles. It's a good mix of both styles because they're able to utilize the micro, but at the same time, let's take a look at the brilliance of this, right? The reason they're able to make this happen without getting punished is the fact the fact that they have already set it up prior, right? The reason they're even able to invade is the fact, is they have actually pushed up the waves. Here you can see the top side is slow pushing. That has been set up earlier, I think by, was it Yaoi here? Yeah, Yaoi actually sets up the slow push. So you can see that they have, it's not crazy dives just happening. It's calculated crazy dives that is happening. Because here all the way, I think 2 to 3 minutes before that play in the mid lane, you can see the setup already placed, and it's by Yaoi, which is really cool, right? You very rarely see a roamer actually doing this, but the fact that he's on an Akai, he knows that he has the base damage necessary to actually do or create a slow push. So he actually rotates up top. Meanwhile, his team is over here. There's no one responding. And look, he leaves that one minion ready or alive so that it's slow pushing. And Super Marco needs to respond to it. Now, with Super Marco or just somebody, right? What's the reason? Why did Echo create a slow push up top? Because they were already setting up a dive or a mid-siege. Now, if you want to go for a mid-siege, you need to kind of force BREN to split up, right? Because even though Echo are 4,000 gold ahead, if it's a 5v5 in the mid lane, it's still a fair battle, and BREN will most likely be able to clear out the wave, buying more time to get to their power spikes, right? So Echo, again, are able to utilize the macro here by not only slow pushing up top to force Super Marco down, but also here in the bottom side. Just take a look at this, right? I think this was just a good catch. I think they noticed Few was down below. They are able to get this position, and then they take him down, right? But mainly, it's a top side. Super Marco, super behind on farm. They know that someone's going to be going solo into that top side, and it should be the Natan, right? Because he needs that goal to get BREN back into the game. So with this, then Echo decides to go for the play. So it seems chaotic. It seems weird. It seems dumb, maybe. But Echo have done all the necessary setup to make it work, right? So even if BREN survived the dive, it's still them getting the advantage because look, Sanford's able to push Super Marco away, mid lane, Flap is low, and Echo are able to just utilize this to clear out the waves. And even though in the end, it is BREN backing off, they have properly set up for the Lord because guess what? Sanford rotates back up top and he pushes the wave. It's now pushing again right on the turret as the Lord spawns, and they have constant mid pressure where BREN have lost basically control fully of this mid lane. Then they look for a cheeky little pick with their Edith pick. Doesn't work out in the end. Echo are able to, get out of that one. And Sanford now is going to be playing that weak side, right? Early on, it was Benny QT who plays that weak side. Now it's Sanford. Sanford, a bit more mobile, a bit better when it comes to survivability against 3 or 4 members. And it's just, again, very good macro. I think it's a very good decision by BREN too. Sure, Echo made the proper steps, but BREN here, they understand that and they respect it. Right? If this was any other team or an aggressive team, maybe, I think they would have just kept on going. They would have just tried to fight for the Lord, and Echo would have eventually been able to build up this gold lead to maybe a 10,000 gold lead, 6,000, 7,000 gold lead with the enemy team losing. So BREN are taking the right steps to come back. They are minimalizing their losses instead of looking for profit, right? That's what you do when you're behind. I think a lot of players, a lot of teams just keep on fighting again, and again, not waiting for their power spikes, and it ends up with the same result, right? If you play the way BREN does here, this is honestly how you should play when you're behind. You should minimize your losses. Wait for those power spikes to hit, because when Few gets that 3-item power spike, when Super Marco gets his power spike, that's when you actually have power to turn the tides away, right? Obviously, in the end, you're going to have to fight. You can't just tunnel or turtle around your base the entire time, but waiting for those power spikes is very important because it gives you a bigger chance of success, a higher chance of success, I would say. And yeah, that's just something a lot of teams don't do. You can see the top teams do it, though. There as well, good micromanagement. Even when they're behind, it's always just good micromanagement. They send Super Marco up top, and Owen opens up this side of the map. Knowing this, there's no more kill pressure set up, right? If Sanji wants to rotate, he's going to meet Ogwen. Super Marco gets so much... just with the vision of Sanji, as long as BREN has vision on Sanji, done. They know that there's not going to be a dive happening here, right? Sanji is technical, or Sanji and Sanford, I would say. And then they clear out with Super Marco. Now you see this. They're just playing it smart. Again, they're just trading very smart, very proper. Even with the setup there, with the Feather Airstrike, the way they utilize it is... Well, in the end... Okay. We gotta talk about this, right? This is really brilliant by BREN. You can really see they're a top team, right? It's a good pickoff. Once again, they do not commit on defending the tier 2. They instead put their focuses around here. They notice Sanji is overextending a bit, and Ogwen instantly punishes him. You can see the instant response as well by Kyle TZ. He gets pinned down, and everybody jumps in towards Kyle TZ, who gets petrified. Super Marco, Few, look at the positioning. Beautiful. And they understand that here, they are stronger because of their position in the high ground. Echo can't really dive without the presence of Sanji, who was taken down. With Sanford low as well, they're able to push, and bang. You see, it's amazing. It really, BREN playing from behind, I think playing from behind is much more impressive than playing when you're ahead. Because when you're ahead, you know exactly what to do. When you're behind, it takes a certain level of composure and discipline to pull it off, especially when you're able to fully come back, right? But I think that's what BREN are able to do. Minimize their losses, wait for that power spike to hit. Now, the power spike can hit with items or with their position. They're able to find it with their position, and the best thing here is they are able to capitalize on the fact that they won that team fight. A lot of teams would just back off here, but look again at how BREN are playing around the map. They shove in the mid lane first. Before showing Super Marco, before Super Marco shows up on the map, he does clear up this top side. But BREN push in the mid lane first, right? Now, with the mid lane pushing, Echo are going to have to make a decision. What do they want to go for here, right? Do they want to go for the clear into the mid lane or that top side? And I think Super Marco just makes a really good decision here by going for the turret, knowing that the members are just still... Oh, my God, Cloudy. Sorry. My cat's just really clingy, man. Hey, what are you doing, man? She just wants to play. But yeah, with the mid lane cleared out, add some more pressure. Carl TZ forced to rotate there. Super Marco, knowing that there's a lot of space, takes the risk. Because in the end, even if he dies, let's say Echo commit a conceal, they commit all their members to take Super Marco down. The Lord spawning in 40 seconds. Super Marco is going to be up by that time, and it's just additional pressure to play with the turret down. It just gives BREN more map control around the Lord that's going to be spawning. So let's say Super Marco actually dies there. I would still say it's worth it because it does buy them or get them a bit more pressure to play with in the top side. With the turret taken down, they're forced to have to clear a bit further. Oh, BHS the Holy Crystal, the Genius One. It's a hybrid build. No, it's brilliant as well. They're just trading sides. They know Echo wants to play around that top side, so they are rotating down below to the bottom side, so they're always ready. Now, the reason why BREN can read this is because, again, the Lord is spawning, and usually as the winning team, you want to be around the Lord side, right? So BREN noticed that. The Lord is spawning. They take control of the bottom side, so they trade sides here, and they play strong side towards bottom lane. So if Echo starts the Lord, they can try to pressure down below. But because Sanford has cleared it up already, they are able, they need to like kind of fall back a bit. Then they rotate down below, and then KLTZ actually gets the turret, right? So, according to the prediction here, as to how they'll actually tackle this Lord fight, they don't go for the Lord. They instead go for a turret. Now again, is it worth it? Definitely not. If we're looking at it equally, Echo and BREN, if they're still in equal terms and in terms of gold, then it's definitely not a good trade for BREN, right? But knowing BREN is super behind now, 7,000 gold behind, this was the best trade they could have gone for. They are minimalizing their losses by getting a turret instead of fighting, and ultimately, you know, kind of going for a desperate play that'll end up with either them coming back or Echo winning. And the odds are stacked against them because of Echo. Still though, Yowie, wow. This is, wow, what a play. Wow, I mean, there's not much to say there. Super Mirko was overextending just a bit, but it was Yowie. It was just Yowie. You can't really blame Super Mirko for that. That's a... Yeah. BREN did their best. Honestly, BREN did their best here. I would still say, though, they didn't have enough pressure on the map. They had a lot of losing lanes, and it really showed here, right? The reason Echo was able to build that snowball. But again, that's how brilliantly Echo actually is able to draft. Echo still backing off. Wow. Are you sure about this? Oh, Carl's dead, I think. Oh! No, he's not. Oh! Bro. Wow. Echo definitely messed up. They shouldn't have stayed that long. No reason to, actually. They already got the base turret. They got the other two base turrets super low. Yeah, that was a big mistake. Oh, man. Wow. That's a really good fight. And again, it just shows, right? With BREN minimalizing losses, they are able to create this kind of... they're basically able to create this chance. Because let's say they've just been taking fights all across the board. Echo would have still ended there. Even with the disrespect by Echo staying, overextending way too long, if BREN didn't take the right steps to get Super Mirko and Few to their to the level that they are at right now, and to the items that they have right now, it would have still just been Echo winning that team fight. 3v2, 3v4, 3v5, it would have still been them winning because of how behind BREN was. But again, they took the right steps while they were behind. They minimalized losses, and they were able to win it out because they have hit their item power spikes, and they're able to punish when Echo does a mistake, makes a mistake. Beautiful. Wait, items. Divine Glaive, Clock, Lightning, already technically power spike, and even for the Natan, full items.
Completely have a switch from 1 to 5 if somebody attempts to step on the line. They just currently burst out 1 or even 3, but that's the problem. They can do either split push, as you've mentioned, Midday, because their tower destruction as of this time is getting really strong.
Yeah, for BREN Esports, they need one fight, and for Echo, they need to be able to survive BREN Esports.
Look at this.
Finally, BREN Esports are able to get near an objective.
Good cancel. And now this is also very good by... It's good by BREN that they're able to cancel with the conceal. It's a beautiful conceal play, and they do not overcommit, right? Their main goal... I think especially for the top teams, you can see BREN, Echo, in MPL PH, they're so decisive. They know exactly what they're doing with every single engage, right? When Ogwen pops that conceal, when they... run across here, they're not looking for a fight. The main objective here is just to cancel the Lord take, right? Because they still know that they are behind. They are behind, and when they go for these kinds of skirmishes that is kind of messy, it definitely benefits Echo, who wants the fight to be chaotic, right? That's why they have the Akai, the Lunox, a lot of single target. Even though they have a lot of AoE, BREN are a proper front-to-back composition. There's no way around it, right? And the reason Echo actually backed off was, again, just... It's very smart. Echo made the right choice as well. It's both teams making proper decisions. Echo knows that the top side is slow pushing. The mid lane has been cleared out. They need to send members to clear this out. And Ogwen pops it, understanding this. And KarlTZ and Yowie, they don't force it. They don't fight 50-50. when they have a lead. No, they know they have a lead. They know they still have it. Why take this fight? There's no reason to, right? So even though they know that maybe mechanically we are better individually, they still they still have the fundamentals that make them such a good team. They clear out the top side. They go back to for mid pressure. Sanford opens up that bush, and when they are able to create a slow push up top, then they ultimately commit on to the Lord. Kyle tries to go for it, but Carltese is too good. And look at the fight, chaotic. Now in this kind of fight, it is going to be favoring Echo for sure. But still, because of these item power spikes, because of the late game, BREN are able to actually fight back. Now, looking at the late game with even Ogwen here, right? Their late game is insane. They have so much damage to play with. And that's exactly what happens here in the end. But Sanford. Benny as well, man. Well played. Well played by Benny. Winter Truncheon sells it, buys Immo. Sanford as well with a brilliant decision to sell an item, getting Windtalker. A high-level game. High-level game. What a... just... wow. Just wow. It's so good. It's so good. My God, like, come on, dude. Echo, if all else fails, they can always just go back to it. And again, you really need to see this. The way that they actually set this up, right? I mean, technically, you can't really say they set it up, but they know. That's why nobody touched that side of the map. They were always just around the mid and top side. Now, why didn't they go for a slow push? Mirko, you know, they could have just maybe slow pushed it, blah, blah, blah. It's already automatically slow pushing, guys. The base turret has been taken down earlier from the team fight. Remember the siege that Echo pulled off. And because they know that, it's constantly going to be pushing in. So when they got the Lord here, Sanford, he knows that Sanji gets caught, and Sanford doesn't overcommit. Once again, he backs away with 1 HP, just barely here, and he rotates down below, knowing the Lord has spawned in as well, and he makes the decision. This is it's a crazy macro decision, and it was basically facilitated by Carltese and Benny buying so much time. Carltese and Benny, the way they were able to space so well here, Benny buying time, getting the kill, and even here buying or using the Winter Truncheon, selling it, getting immortality. This bought so much time because Super Marco cannot recall. He recalls here, Benny can actually kill him. Like, yeah, you see, if he was recalling there, if he wasn't ready for Benny's respawn, he would have died. Ogun was the only one who recalled, which may be a mistake here, right? I mean, either way, it's tough because Ogun was in no position to look for this. Either way, like Ogun had to recall here. He couldn't have walked here, and Carltese couldn't have gone back because Benny would have been able to solo kill Super Marco or at least kill him, and in the end, it'll still be very beneficial. So I don't know. It's an amazing fucking forced error. That's it. All right. It's crazy. Echo, best team maybe in the world right now. Still best team in the world. Yeah. That's it for game 1. Great varsity, by the way. I think we're gonna move on to game number 2. I think we've spoken enough about game number 1, and we have analyzed enough in game number 1. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like. Comment down below if I missed anything that you guys spotted out, or if you guys have different opinions. Right? If I said this, and maybe you don't agree. Maybe they were doing something else. Go ahead and let me know in the comments, and just have a solid discussion in the comment section. All right. See you guys in game number 2.